Welcome back to Feed the Beast Stoneblock 4. I'm Bumstar, and today we're finally kicking off the first real step towards the catalyst, and that means it's Nitro time. Crafting the Nitro Ender Cell, upgrading our AE2 system even further, and maybe dipping our toes into Roost Ultimate to start generating resources with chickens. So buckle up, because this is where tier 3 really starts to take off. So we're going to probably just do the first step in tier 3 here for the Nitro Cell because, well, the rest of this, we're definitely going to need more resources than we currently have, and we're going to need to organize that. And I figured it might be a little helpful to start getting some wireless applied energistics set up, and also maybe some auto crafting as well, because some of this is going to require quite a bit. So to make this Ender Nitro Cell, we're going to need Nitro Crystals. And to make Nitro Crystals, we're going to need blocks of Blazing Crystals, blocks of Redstone, and another star. But that does get us 16 Nitro Crystals, so we should be able to do that. Let's go ahead and see how long that takes. Alright, so let's pop these in here. And let's see, that's going to take 20 million power. So that's going to take quite a bit because, well, we're only using the hardened energizing rods. So we're going to go ahead and take all of those out, and we're going to upgrade all of that. Alright, so now we have them all upgraded to Blazing, and then we're going to move those over to Niotic and then Spirited, so that way they're just pushing it as fast as possible. And just to prove the point about needing those freaking chickens, I had to make some soul sand to get some more nether quartz to finish doing this Ender Cell, and to do that, I mean, I'm using the atomic reconstructor with sand to turn it into soul sand, which just is kind of a pain. Alright, so I finally have all the resources needed to upgrade these. Breaking those all up, and we're gonna make them. No, and normally in mod packs, I have this completely automated with auto crafting by now. And doing this by hand, it is definitely some work. Alright, so now we have 9 of the spirited energizing rods, so let's go ahead and get our blazing crystal block. 2 redstone, 1 nether star. Let's see how this runs. Much quicker. All right, perfect. And we get 16 with a single craft. So that's pretty good. So now for this, we are going to need, we have everything we need. All right, so here is our Ender Cell Nitro. Let's go ahead and see what our gift of pebbles gives us. A staff of traveling. Ooh, what does that do? Oh, it's a teleport staff. Perfect. And it uses energy, so it's just kind of chilling there. All right, so now let's head to the world engine and build this. Let's go ahead and take our power cubes here. And, you know, I'm going to have to get rid of this then, aren't I? That's fine. Let's go ahead and turn this in. And assemble. Okay, it went right above our enchanter here. And let's go ahead. And there's no channels connected to this. Okay. Not really sure what the reasoning for this is other than just putting it in. I don't think we're actually going to get any power out of that. I think it might just be for some aesthetic purposes. But for now, that does allow us to get into things like the AE2 controller. Because that requires the Fortron infused, or actually we could have done this earlier. I thought the controller was locked behind the Ender Cell. I think there's something in ME that's locked behind it. I know there was a reason I was waiting for this, but I just can't quite remember. Let me know in the comments below if you remember what that reason was. But anyway, let's go work on that. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is make some of this redstone crystal, which is just going to be a block of redstone, some fluix crystal, and glowstone, submerged in water and placed, and then we'll get the redstone crystals out of it. We can also use something like the crystal assembler, and we can't use the reaction chamber yet as that is locked behind the advanced machine blocks, which is what we're currently going to be working on with this catalyst at the end. But let's see if we can make this crystal assembler here. we're going to need to make some Entro infused ingots, which means we're going to need some Entro. And Entro is made with the Entro seeds, and we're just missing some Ender dust. So let's grab some Ender pearls, and let's go throw those in a crusher. All right, and in order to use the Fluix, or in order to get Entro, we need to use Fluix blocks. So what we're gonna do is place these these Fluix blocks on top of some growth accelerators, just to give it a little boost, and then we just place the seed inside of these, and we'll get our Entro from this. And the reason that you want to do so many of these at once is because eventually they start to break. They will deteriorate over time. You won't be able to just keep these running nonstop. But luckily there is a lot of different ways to automate Entro once you have enough of it. And as you can see, this one now turned back to a Certus quartz block. All right, so now we have about a stack and a half of Entro crystals. And we've got some more Certus here as well, which we can just throw in our system. And then we want to take half the stack and we're going to send it into the crusher. And now we just need some gold and some lapis and throw those 3 in water. And there's all of our Entro. Oh, I gotta be careful about crouching. But now that we have that, we can make our extended machine frame. And then we're just going to need a ME crafting terminal and a skystone tank. And that skystone tank is just skystone with a piece of quartz glass. And we've made the crafting terminal before. Okay, and just like that, we have our crystal assembler. So let's go ahead and place that down right here. And we want to give it some power. Then you want to make sure that you're putting the gate on the correct side, or whatever power you're sending in, and send it over here, I believe. It's showing that it's not accepting any power here, so I might need to connect it with the, let's see, if we just add a cable to it, will that be enough? Let's say device online. Let's just see if it works. We might actually need to send this power though. So block of redstone, 4 Fluix, and 4 glowstone. Oh, I know what the problem was. Keep forgetting that I have all my powers being sent to channel 2. There we go. There we go. Now it's running. And you can put some acceleration cards in here to speed this up. All right, so now with 4 acceleration cards, let's go ahead and put all these in. And as you can see, that was done almost instantly. And then we just take these redstone crystals and put them in a charger. And once again, we could put them in a reaction chamber, but we can't craft a reaction chamber just yet. And now that we have our charged redstone crystal, we can go ahead and turn these into printed energy circuits. We've turned it into a printed energy circuit, add some redstone and a printed silicone, and now we have our energy processor. So now all we need is some glass cables and some quartz glass, and we can make a ME controller. All right, so let's head to the world engine and let's make some controllers. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and put a gate right here, put that on channel 2, and now we just have power being sent here all the time. And we're going to go ahead and make 8 ME controllers. Well, maybe 7, because I did not grab enough of the cables. All right, and now we have 8 ME controllers. And while we're here, we're going to go ahead and remove all of this. And just like that, it's like it, it's just like it never even happened, right? All of our lava is going to disappear. And now anytime that we need heat, we can just pop a gate on here and push as much power through as we want. Easy peasy. So now that we have wireless power, we now have our ME controllers, and then we're going to be using some wireless connections so we don't have to run as many cables through the entire base. We're going to be using the ME wireless setup kit as well as the wireless connectors. So for this, it's going to use the crystal assembler, and same thing with this. And these are all things that we can already make. The only thing that we can't make yet is a singularity, and we need to make a matter condenser for that. So let's go ahead and make one of these real quick. And we're just going to go ahead and place that matter condenser right here. Grab a interface, place the interface right here, and a item pipe. And this is all temporary because, well, we're going to be moving all of this. For now, we need to get our singularity so we can make our wireless setup kit. And to do that, we are going to need to pump cobblestone, and we'll also put water in here too, because honestly, I'm not sure which one's faster. But put those into our interface, and then we're going to need to make a storage component to put into our matter condenser, and we're going to want to make a 64K or a 256K, but we'll just go ahead and make the 64K for now. So pop a 64K in here, and then you want to switch this over into singularities. You can also do the matter balls, but for now we're just doing singularities. And then we're going to go ahead and take our item pipe and just send those right through. And as you can see, it's starting to pump these in, and it's not the fastest thing in the world, but we're just going to let this run over time while we're doing the rest of this to get our singularity. I know there is absolutely a faster way to do this, and I think this is pumping in the water actually. So let's clear water out and see if this goes any faster. No. All right, let's try switching it to just water, and water is not doing anything. So we'll just do it cobblestone because we have infinite cobblestone. I wonder if we do more than 64, this will make any difference. Doesn't look like it. All right, so we'll just leave this running over time, and eventually we'll get a singularity out of this. But I know there's a faster way to do this. I just honestly can't remember how. So let's go ahead and try a export card to see if that's any faster. That's pushing in 1 right now. Let's go ahead and make some acceleration cards. Oh, that is much faster. All right, so an export bus with 4 acceleration cards is much faster than a ME interface, although that's right, we don't have any upgrades in here. So let's try the pipes upgrades. There we go. We now have 2 sources pushing it in, so that should be fine for now. And we should have our singularity in no time. While we're waiting for that singularity, let's make everything else we need. All right, so now what we can go ahead and do is put these 4 items in our crystal assembler, and we now have a ME wireless connector. But in order to use those wireless connectors, we need to make the wireless setup kit. So let's make these few things that we need while we wait for that singularity. So while we're waiting for that singularity to craft, we are also going to make our molecular assemblers and our pattern providers. And we're just going to make 2 of each for now. And then we're also going to need to make some crafting coprocessors, which require a crafting unit. And that is the Fortron infused blocks with the World Engine machine upgrade, which we can make with just some power, and some quartz glass, calculation processor, and some glass cables. We can also buy them from the Echo of the Fabricator for 25. So let's go see what the Fabricator has for us. So we can grab them from here. Go ahead and grab 5 of them. And now we need to make some storage components, because we're going to have 1 coprocessor, and then we're going to have the storage for the crafting unit. The higher this is, the faster it's going to run, and the bigger crafts that you're going to be able to do. So if you only do a 1K ME storage component for the crafting storage, it's only going to let you make very small crafts, pretty much 1-step crafts. But the higher that you start going, the bigger crafts that you're going to be able to do. So ultimately, you would like to do the 256K with multiples, and I'll show you the setup for it. But for now, we're just going to do some either 4K or 16K, depending on how many we can make. Now, all you do is you put the crafting unit in with your storage component, and you make the crafting storage. We'll just make 4 of those. And then we just need to take the crafting unit with a calculation, I believe, an engineering, to make our crafting coprocessor. And now we have the very basics of autocrafting set up. We just need to actually set the whole thing up. But before we do that, we need to make our wireless setup kit. And we have our singularity. Now we just need to put all of those components into our crystal assembler. And we have our wireless setup kit. And the reason that we want this is because, well, we're going to be moving this. And for the past few episodes, this white elevator has been here. And the reason that it's here is because, well, I dug this out. Obviously, I haven't decorated anything yet, but it's down here. As well as this guy. Got a little cat hanging out down here. But this is where we're going to put our entire AE2 setup. And yeah, I mean, I haven't decorated it yet because when I dug this out, I didn't have flying, didn't have my jetpack set up. So now that we have that and we're going to have autocrafting, we are 100% going to be decorating this and making it look kind of futuristic because, well, it's our futuristic computer, so we might as well, right? So I laid out a 7x7 square here. And the reason I did that is because all of AE2's multi-block structures have a max size of 7x7. So I just wanted to make sure that was centered in the room and laid out so I have a general guide. Now, we're definitely not going to be just setting it on the floor here. We're going to be bringing it up a little bit. So I think we go ahead and bring that up about 5 blocks. So it'll be 6 blocks from the ground. So we're going to take our ME controller and we're going to go ahead and place one here. And then we'll just place the last one here. So we have 7 across with 1 over. And now we can go ahead and get rid of that cobblestone. And that's the start of our system. Now, obviously it is turned off because we don't have any power going to it. We have nothing connected to it. But this, in a normal applied energistics setup, in a normal applied energistics setup, each one of the faces of these controllers has 32 channels. So on a single block, you have 32 channels here, you have 32 channels here, you have 32 channels here, 32 channels here, 32 channels there, and 32 channels on the other side. Now, obviously, as these are connected, you lose a side, but you gain more channels because they're all connected into a single one. Now in this pack, they have bumped that up, and most Feed the Beast packs do this. They have bumped it up. Instead of being 32 channels, it's 128 channels per side. So you really, like, the chance of you using every single channel that's available to you if you do the full multi-block of the 7x7 is very, very slim. It could be possible. It's just gonna take you a lot of connections. So now what we need to do is we need to power this, and we need to connect our drive here and everything else here as well. Before we do that, we need to set up a bit better wireless, because as you can see when we're down here, our wireless is out of range. With that being said, once we move everything down here, our wireless is going to be out of range everywhere else in our base because this is so much further away. So in order to do that, we're going to need to set up one of the quantum rings that we had to turn in before at our world engine, and we're going to have to set one of those up to give us wireless. And in order to do that, we need another singularity, and we're also going to need a ender pearl and some tiny TNT. Now we're going to go ahead and do this over here just in case, because I don't want to blow anything up. Make sure our magnet is off, and let's go ahead and set our tiny TNT down, put a button next to it, throw the ender pearl down and our singularity, hit the button, put away. And now what we have left is quantum entangled singularities. And with these entangled singularities, they are linked together. As well, if you know anything about quantum physics, like everybody should, entangled singularities do the exact same thing. They are part of the same whole. It's like there's a second one of you somewhere else doing the same thing, always connected. And we're going to use those with a quantum ring to connect to our system with a quantum card and connecting it through a bridge. So that way our entire system will always be connected through our wireless at any range, in any dimension, anywhere, anytime. And obviously we don't have dimensions here, but we can have it connected and we can go all the way out and still have connection. Now on the plus side, once you complete this quest, where you make the quantum entangled, the link chamber, and the quantum ring, you get an extra quantum ring and link chamber. And then once you do that, we can now make a quantum bridge by just crafting a few more pieces. So we're going to need 4 more quantum rings and 1 more link chamber. And now we craft our quantum bridge card. And what we can do then is we can put our quantum bridge card in our wireless terminal here. Not actually in the terminal, we want to put it over here. And now we have this area here that allows us to put a singularity. So we put a single singularity there. And then what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to connect a singularity down here. And that is going to be our 8 quantum rings with a quantum link chamber. So since we have so many channels available to us, we don't need to worry about making sure that every single channel is accessible. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put our quantum ring directly underneath this just to make it look good. And go ahead and put our glass there to link it all together. Now we're going to have this quantum ring hovering directly below our computer here. And all we have to do is connect that with a cable, and we can just use a basic glass cable for now. And then we just put our singularity in here. And once this is all connected, we will have access everywhere. So if we come down here, we still don't have access, but that's because this doesn't hold our computer right now. So now we need to move all of this downstairs. So let's start breaking some of it and moving it down. And oof, need to be extra careful. I killed my cat. Oh well. Anyway, so now what we're going to want to do is reconnect all of this to our system here, and we'll upgrade these cables eventually. But for now, this is going to work. Put all of our drives back in here. Go ahead and put our crafting terminal back here. And then we just need to give this some power. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did before with the energy acceptor. And we'll go ahead and change this energy acceptor into a smaller one. But we want to make sure we put a energy cube down. And well, we should really use a dense energy cube. Let's head back to the Echo of the Fabricator, grab a dense energy cube, and now we don't have to use the basic one anymore, and we didn't have to craft anything either. Let's go back home, and we'll go ahead and set this up right here. And now we just need our gate. Set that to 2. And look at that, it all lights up, it's all connected. We do not have access to our functional storage system or anything else that has been connected to our computer system because, well, this is just running on its own. The only stuff we have access to is what's down here. That is where our wireless connectors come into play. What we're gonna do then is take our wireless connector and we're gonna connect it with a dense cable because that has 128 channels. And we're going to put it right about here. And then what we're going to do is take our wireless setup kit and right click it. And now let's go back upstairs. And obviously this cabling is a mess, but we'll fix this a little bit later. We're going to come up here and we're just going to place that wireless connector right on top of one of these cables and connect it here. So now everything that's connected to these cables should all be connected. And if we right click it, it tells us we're using 11 channels out of 128. So now all we have to do is run our cable back over to this, to our storage controller. And unfortunately, I have so much connected to this storage controller that I really don't feel like moving this right now, but it is kind of just sitting in the middle here, which means I'll need to grab my linking card and relink everything once I move this, because once you break this block, it unlinks everything and all of our farms, everything that automatically gets pushed in there is going to immediately start backing up. So we'll need to be careful when we do that. But for now, we're just going to leave it here. We need to take our storage bus, place it back on top, and let's go ahead and make sure our priority is set. And now we just reconnect it to the system. And if we look here, perfect. All of our gold's back in there. Everything is reconnected. And let's go ahead and take a quick run here. So normally by now our wireless connection would be completely broken because we didn't have enough wireless boosters. But now we have access to our system everywhere, all the time. And that's just kind of the basics of AE. Normally I get to this point pretty quickly because it's really easy to. In this mod pack, it hasn't been. But it's kind of nice to have some progression built into this, right? Like not just being able to rush this immediately makes it pretty nice. And this dense energy cell holds so much more FE that even if we run out of power at some point, we'll still have access to everything for quite a while. The cool thing about these controllers too is if you right click on them, you can see everything that's connected to them. And with being able to see everything that's connected, you will also be able to see stuff that isn't connected. Stuff that maybe you ran out of channels. If you're playing on a regular mod pack or something like all the mods, the channeling is set to 32. So if you have more than 32 things connected to a single controller, it'll show up in red saying, hey, this isn't working. But now that we have that, let's start some auto crafting. So for now, just gonna do some absolutely basic auto crafting. To do that, we're going to need our pattern providers and our molecular assemblers, and we're going to need our crafting storage and our co-crafting processor. So I like to do a square grid or a rectangle as we build them up, but these are all connected now. These assemblers work like a regular crafting grid. So anything that would be crafted in a crafting table can be crafted in one of these, as long as it's touching a pattern provider. The pattern provider is where you put the patterns to be able to tell the computer, hey, I need you to craft these. And you can craft them on command. The issue is, well, you can't really do any of that with this. You're going to need specific crafting terminals. And on the plus side of it is you don't need to use an actual terminal for it once you have the wireless, because you can set up wireless terminals. So we're going to need the wireless pattern encoding and the wireless pattern access. And then there's also the wireless extended pattern access. The extended pattern access is definitely worth using. So we're just going to need a wireless pattern encoding and the extended pattern access terminal. So let's go ahead and make those. All right, so we're gonna make our extended pattern provider access terminal. So we need to make a bunch of things that are all pretty simple. We should have all the materials for them. Okay, and to make the actual access terminal, we need to use the crystal assembler with logic, redstone lamp, pattern access, and some quartz. So let's get our crystal assembler out and connect that to the system. We're just gonna place that down right here for now. And let's go ahead and grab a logic, a redstone lamp, some charged quartz fixtures. I think we need 4 of those. And then we just need to make the pattern access, which is going to be a pattern provider and a illuminated panel. And now let's put all those in here. And we're also going to need a export bus for some water. Oh, actually it doesn't need any water. Oh, we need 2 logic. That would be why. There we go. Let's grab our acceleration cards back out for that. Speed that up a bit. Now we have our ME extended pattern access terminal, which we could place down here and use it. And this will show you all of the different patterns connected to those assemblers, but we're not going to do that. We don't need a stationary because realistically, once we have everything set up down here, we're only going to come down to set up more because we're going to have access to everything directly through our person. Set that back up, put our crafting terminal back down, and let's make our wireless extended. So now we have that as an individual, and let's make our pattern encoding too. We're gonna need a dense energy cell, a regular terminal, and the wireless receiver. And now we have all 3 wireless terminals. So what we can do is we can take them, and we actually have to go back to our crafting terminal here, and we can start adding them together. So we add those 2 together, turn it into a universal, and we add the last one, and then when you mouse over this, it shows you pattern provider, extended pattern access terminal, and a crafting terminal. Let's go ahead and equip that, and now we have everything accessed here, and it doesn't look any different here except we have this button. This turns it to the encoding, and this turns it to the pattern access. So now we can make patterns, and the first pattern that you should always make is a blank pattern. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to our regular crafting, and we're going to make 2 blank patterns, and now we put them right here, and we're going to teach it to make this. And you want to set it up so substitutes are disabled and fluid substitutions are disabled. I normally will always leave fluid substitutions on because then it's just going to use fluids instead of items, which is good, so that way you're not having to worry about buckets and things like that. But these regular substitutes, you want to use this sometimes. And this is where patterns can often break because of this. Because if you don't have substitutes enabled, then it's only going to use the exact items that you have placed in here. But for example, say this pattern didn't require quartz glass, it just required any kind of glass. Then if you use substitutes enabled, it's going to try and use any glass that you have inside your system to do the pattern. And that's where it kind of will break, because some patterns can't use certain types of glasses, but they can use most of them. And then in other instances, quartz glass is a glass. So if you just need a regular glass, it's going to try and use quartz glass. Well, you need regular glass to craft quartz glass. So what it's going to start doing is it's going to use quartz glass to craft more quartz glass, and eventually you're just going to be on a loop and never get more. So when you're setting that up, you want to make sure that the substitutes are turned off. So normally I will just always have this turned off unless I know the pattern can use substitutes and those substitutes won't break anything. But for now, we just go ahead and set this up for the blank patterns with substitutes off, and then you hit this button and it encodes the pattern. Now, if you messed it up and you wanted substitutes on, you can go ahead and clear this pattern out and put this pattern back in here, and then just push clear and re-encode, and now it's a blank pattern again. And then to add them, just make sure that that screen is up. You push the plus button to encode the pattern, it puts it in the pattern encoder, and there you go. And then you can come over here and you can now put your pattern right here. We're not going to be able to make the blank patterns yet because, well, we need to be able to make quartz glass, and we need to make sure that we have all of these items for it. So if we come over here, we come to quartz glass, hit this, make sure it's set to glass and not quartz glass, and Certus quartz. Make sure substitutes are disabled, and now we have a pattern for quartz glass. But in order to make quartz glass, we need Certus quartz dust and regular glass. So then we need to set up a pattern for glass. In order to set up a pattern for glass, we're going to need to connect a pattern provider to a smelter to send sand in to make glass. So you can see where this will start to get to be a bit much. But for now, let's go ahead and make some more blank patterns. So all you have to do is you can click on it, or if you already have some in there but you still want to craft more, you can middle mouse button and it'll bring up this amount or this screen, and then you can just click here or you can type it in. Or the cool thing about Applied Energistics is it will do math as well. So say I want 60 of them, so I can do 10 times 6 to make 60, and then it's going to tell you when you're missing something. So for this, we're missing some glass, but we have everything else available. So let's go ahead and make 20, and as you can see here, everything's available, but we can't hit that start button because we don't have any coprocessors or storage, and that's where these guys come in. So we're going to set that up, and we're going to put that off by 1 and just place those right here. And as you can see, when you place them on top of each other, they make a specific block. But then if I tried to place one here, it now breaks. They have to be in a row or square. So now that those are all there, we can take this, put a cable underneath, and now that is connected. So now if we come in here and we want to make 20 and hit this, it tells us we can start it. And then you can hit up here to see the crafting status, and it gets crafted. You get a notification, and now we have 20 blank patterns. Come over here, pop them in this, and auto crafting is set up. Now you can scale this a ton. What I'll normally do is I will take this setup here and put 3 more on top of it. So it is 4 high with them alternating. So a pattern provider would go on here and pattern provider would go on here with the assembler on top of the pattern providers and just rotating up 4 high, because then you get the pattern providers touching multiple assemblers, which will just allow faster processing and better crafting. And I will do that 4 times. I will have 4 of these around, and well, I will probably be setting those up, but you'll just make little towers like right here, coming up with those, connect them to your system. And then for these here, I'll normally do this exact setup for each individual pillar and sometimes more. This just kind of determines how big of a craft you can do, but this is all temporary because there are multi-blocks that we will set up. We'll turn these structures into a giant multi-block that can hold hundreds of patterns. And same thing with these, we'll have a giant computer multi-block that will take this and even the most upgraded version of this, the best style of this that you can do, and we'll make it look like it's a snail compared to the speed that you get from that crafting. If you're enjoying this series, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Discord. We're building a community, playing a Stoneblock 4 server together, and would love to have you there. Or else. And now I think it's time to get into some more resource generation, and we're going to kind of try and speedrun this and learn it because, well, I haven't really done it before, but we're going to start working on some chickens. So I think the first thing we need to do is make the chicken stick. We've got our chicken stick. And then from there, we need to make some chicken seed tier 1. So let's go ahead and see. We just need some iron dust. So let's grab some iron and let's go crush it. So let's make some chicken seed tier 1. I'm not really sure where I got the chicken soul tier 1 from, but I have it. And well, I have a good amount of it too. Let's see. And how would we make this? Just using a regular chicken with a soul extractor. So let's go ahead and make one of these. I'm gonna have to make a new chicken stick. Okay. So we use our chicken stick to pick up chickens from the world. So now we have our regular chicken. And once we have that, let's make a roost. Let's take our roost and we'll put it right here. And then we put our chicken in here, I believe. Then do we put seeds in here? Okay. And as we put seeds in here, we get chicken eggs. All right. So that's telling us soul extractor. So let's do breeding chickens. So we're going to need a roost, a chicken stick, and a chicken. So let's go ahead and take all of these out because, well, we don't really need eggs, right? We're going to need to make another chicken stick. And now we have our breeder. So let's go ahead and put the breeder right here. And we can also make a chicken gym. So let's go ahead and make one of those as well. And let's go get some more chickens. And a full stack of eggs, and we got barely any baby chicks. Anyway, let's grab some of the big guys here. All right, we got 2 of those, and let's go ahead and put both of those in here with our seeds. Unless I don't know where they went. Okay, guess we're making more seeds then. And voila, now we have chickens being grown. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and do something a little different here. Break that. put you in here and go ahead and plant you there. There we go. All right, we have seeds automated, easy enough. And now we have our regular chickens being bred. Let's go ahead and take those out and let's make 3 breeders. Kind of hate that this uses the chicken stick, but that's fine. All right, so 3 breeders and make a chicken trainer. And now we can train a chicken. Oh, and then we have to, then we feed it the tier within. Okay, that makes sense. So then we just need the higher tiers for that. All right, cool. So we have some of the basics done. So now that we have that, let's I guess go ahead and make some wireless chickens, right? So a feeder and a collector. So we've got the collector here and the feeder here. So we have die chickens. We have tier 2 chickens, so water chicken, lava chicken. We don't need the water, but we'll make one anyway, just because. And then iron chicken, so we can do a flint chicken with a bone chicken in tier 2. Okay, so we could soul extract, or we can actually make them in the world engine with tier 1 and some clay. But let's go ahead and make some die chickens. It'll just be an egg with the die. Not gonna guarantee. Nope. All right, that's gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt. So I think I do 2 of each, right? I think that's probably the best. Maybe just try and get one. All right, well, I will see you guys when I get this finished. All right, so I've made my way through most of these. I still have, well, 7 left to do, but I got a lot of them. I'm just running a little low on eggs. So let's see what else we can do here. So if we take a white chicken and a regular chicken and mix it with tier 1, we can get a feather chicken. And then with a feather chicken, we can do a feather chicken with a white chicken, tier 1, to make a bone chicken. And then with that bone chicken, we can mix it with tier 2 and a flint chicken, which a flint chicken is a gray chicken and a gravel chicken. And that gravel chicken is a gray chicken with a stone chicken, and a stone chicken is a water chicken with a gray chicken. So as you can see, I mean, it's like breeding these all together and to make different things. Very similar to productive bees, but just with chickens and different blocks. So let's go ahead and make a feather chicken. I'm gonna take one of these guys out and we're gonna put in our white chicken, and then we just need some seeds. Now we have a feather chicken. So now I'm also curious, if I put a red chicken in here with a seed, okay, yeah, that gets me red dye. Perfect. So we will definitely be utilizing those to get our dyes from now on. But another thing I want to see is we have our roost feeder, our roost collector. So if we put those right here, you can click which roost you want added and what kind of seed you want, I believe. And then you can just pop seeds in here and it'll start putting them in here. It looks like the issue that it runs into is that it doesn't spread them out. Okay, so you can increase the range. So we will eventually automate these seeds, so they're just being mass produced anyway. But then I believe we will be able to connect this with our storage system and just pump everything we want into here through import and export buses and all the above. So now let's take our white chicken and add that with a feather chicken. Now we have our bone chicken. So now all we need is tier 2 seeds with a flint chicken. So let's take these out, put our water chicken in here. Now let's put the gray chicken in here. Now we have our stone chicken. Then with our stone chicken, we need a gravel chicken. So we get rid of the water chicken. We put the stone chicken in here with the seed. Ooh, and we can actually make another stone chicken because that's tier 2. So is the gravel. So we'll just make a second gravel chicken. Then we're going to use our soul extractor. We're going to go ahead and put we're going to put our gravel chicken in here, and that's going to extract a tier 2 chicken soul. And then all we need to do is make some chicken seeds. And look at that, we already have 100 tier 2 chicken seeds. So let's get rid of our stone. Let's put the gravel in here, put a tier 1 seed, and we have our flint chicken. So now we take our flint chicken plus our bone chicken, and let's put all of our other chickens away for now as well. They're taking up a ton of inventory. And now we put a tier 2 seed in here, and we have our iron chicken. And that just is the process of making chickens. So from there, we can hit at roost chicken, and we can see the list of every chicken that is available. So for example, ender pearl chicken, amethyst shard, netherite, nether star, another star chicken. We need 4 netherite chickens, plus a tier 7 chicken soul to make a netherite star chicken. We got a silicone chicken, a diamond chicken, prismarine. So now we can go through and make each one of these chickens and really start getting our resources going. And the one that we really need is this soul sand chicken. So that's going to be nether quartz plus sand. And we also, just need the nether quartz as well. But what I will do between episodes is make all these chickens and set this automation up and then tell you how I set this automation up, because I'm going to have to play around with these a little bit to figure out how they push through. And I also want to speed up that growth a bit. All right. And that's where we're wrapping up things for today. We got our nitro block crafted, moved our entire AE2 setup into a brand new expanded area, and went fully wireless. And we even kicked off some basic auto crafting, which is going to make everything so much smoother moving forward. Then we ended the episode by diving into Roost Ultimate and getting our first chickens going. It's a small start for now, but trust me, these chickens are gonna carry us later. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Stoneblock 4 content, and come hang out in the Discord. The community's growing fast, and we would love to have you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Later.